Last year, I bought Skullgirls in this heavy $200 arcade stick. I couldn't really play against many people online back then, but I kept myself busy by learning how to play each of the several fighting games that came out that year. I've been able to play online more regularly recently, thanks to getting a fiber optic internet thing. I have no idea how it works, I just know that I can play fighting games online mostly lag-free. So after training as well as I could, I got the crazy idea to go to my first tournament ever.
Ultimate Fighting Game Tournament number 9, EO Mark of the Millennium 2001 Action Encore HD Remake.
It was going to be great. I get hype over little things, but the big things, they're often letdowns. But this, I was hyped for this, and this was a big thing. Thursday afternoon, I drove to Chi City from Athens, Ohio, to check in at the Crown Plaza with some friends I had known online for years. We were splitting the cost of the room, and this was our first chance to meet in real life. While parking my car across the street from the hotel, I saw two guys walking with sticks. This seemingly mundane sight had me super hyped. Then in the lobby, the shirts in the lobby, there was a dude with a Double Dragon shirt, a shirt with the Street Fighter II selection screen on it, one with the inputs for Shoryuken. I was truly at home amongst people better than I at fighting games. I had a few things to unpack still, and I wanted to see the room, so I went to the hotel bar where I was supposed to meet up with my friends. It was the first bar that I'd ever been in that didn't serve pizza. It was pretty fancy with a marble countertop, very hotelish, but it had various sports playing on the TVs, and it was filled with nerds. An all-around confusing affair. There I met Sugar Rot and Riverboat, in person, but Fur hadn't arrived yet. Everything was cool and jovial, but it did feel weird with me sitting at the bar when I don't drink, until Sugar ordered me a Shirley Temple filled to the meniscus with Marciano cherries. Sugar was just as I imagined he'd be. Short, thin, white, clean-shaven, early 20s, shag haircut, and a dress shirt. His smile and flushed cheeks weren't at all disconnected from his manner of typing or his voice. Riverboat, while sporting a smile and flushed cheeks as well, was different than my idea of him I had from online interactions. He was tall and great shape, 30-ish, tan like Greek or Turkish, and wearing a blue hockey jersey. I guess he had mentioned that he liked hockey online, but that information didn't stick for whatever reason. We were chatting for a few hours. I was already late, but Fur was super late. We decided when we got up to the room, we'd play the Inuyasha fighting game because it's not too serious, and we'd save practicing Skullgirls and Persona for the morning when Sugar and River weren't so intoxicated. Since it was an event with games, people acting socially awkward was ordinary, but one person kept entering the bar area and looking at the three of us. He was a tubby guy wearing a Slayer t-shirt. He walked in and out 4 times, and the last time, I noticed he had a brown furry tail on. I yelled, Fur! Well, he rushed over to the table and got angry. Turns out it was Fur and he had been looking for us for hours. The plan was to ask around at the bar until we found each other, but he was too shy to ask, and so he took it out on us. The rest of us found each other just fine. Sugar Rod offered to buy Fur a drink to calm him down, but it turned out he was only 20. River said he had an assortment of liquor in his car and suggested we unpack and just play Inuyasha. Fur agreed, but he was still upset. We got unpacked, and fortunately, Fur didn't drink that night. I don't know how wise pouring booze on drama is. He was fine once we got to playing crappy fighting games, but Sugar and River wanted to turn in pretty early, so Fur and I just played some Resident Evil Mercenaries. Around 2 a.m. I was pretty done and damn near fell asleep with a 360 controller in my hand. I slept on some blankets on the floor because my share of the room was only 15% of the cost, and I never sleep while in different places, so I woke up to see Fur standing over at the window, looking out at the Chicago landscape. biting stick under his arm. I just watched a while in the darkness, squinting my eyes as to look asleep. After a few minutes, he raised his hands in a victory pose. I closed my eyes again. Again, I was pretty damn exhausted by the trip.
Start of Friday.
I woke up again when something cold touched my neck, shocking me into consciousness. There was Sugar Rot standing over me with a Red Bull.
Ready to get schooled in Persona 4?
I replied, yes, I am. River was content watching Sugar and I spar while browsing sports stuff on his iPad. Fur had gone into the bathroom, and it was only after River suggested that we get some breakfast that I realized how long we had been playing. It was like 2 hours. And we realized that meant Fur had been in the bathroom for 2 hours. We knocked on the door to the hotel bathroom.
Fur, we're going to breakfast. Are you coming with?
He instantly opened the door as if he had been standing on the other side, and we were hit with a pungent smell. It was like rotten, salted beef jerky and motor oil. I had to piss and change my clothes. When I washed my hands, I noticed that the sink had a thin layer of a greasy substance on it, and then I noticed almost everything in the bathroom did. I washed my hands nice and good, and we sought out for some grub in the hotel restaurant. Breakfast was fine, barring the fact that Fur didn't change his clothes.
Persona 4 Arena.
I might have psyched myself out before the pool. I saw some guy playing my main, Kanji, better than my scrub ass ever could, and he was in my pool. In the first game I lost, but it was okay considering I could tell my opponent had way more hours into the game than I did. Next game I won handedly against a player who was clearly better than me, but he was rattled from a Game 1 loss. Despite the win, some fighting game enthusiast was trash-talking my abilities the whole time. He wasn't happy about my cheap victory for some reason. River had just won his match in his pool, so I talked to him about his win, and it calmed me down for my last game, which was against a Yukiko player. She zoned my ass to shit, which is what happens when you play a grappler like Kanji. That would have been it, but amidst the silly yelling and noise, River and I saw Fur getting into an argument with a famous Marvel vs. Capcom player. River had to run across a rather large room to hold Fur back. The Yukiko player asked if that guy was a friend of mine, pointing to the center of attention. Something like that.
Daivu Kiku.
After we all got creamed in Persona, and after River calmed down Fur, we had the perfect game lined up to alleviate the tension. Dive Kick. If you haven't heard of it, it's basically a 2-button fighting game that, while rather balanced, is mostly a big inside joke for the fighting game community. I got really engrossed in the mechanics and silliness. I didn't get out of pools, but I beat a fair amount of people, and even frauded 2 of them, which means to win 5-0. But by the time I was eliminated, we lost track of Fur. Our plan was to go out and get food and drinks at the Sunshine Cafe, some Japanese restaurant Sugar ate at the year before. But we opted for room service. We didn't want Fur to think we had abandoned him by leaving the hotel. Of course, he was a major topic of discussion after that outburst earlier. Sugar and I seemed to shrug off the drama, but River was determined not to let it ruin a perfectly fine tourney. River was tested when he tried the bathroom door to find it locked or stuck. He pounded on the door to see if Fur was in there, which would have been awkward considering we were talking about him. River sighed deeply and rubbed his eyebrows, figuring he'd have to pay for the door Fur presumably broke. Sugar Rot pulled out a Red Bull from the minibar and snuck it up to River, placing it on his neck.
If there's a problem, we'll deal with it later. It's nothing life-threatening, and we're here to have a good time.
I think that's all he needed to hear. They went off with some new friends to the hotel bar. I met up with that Yukiko player, she was pretty chill, and we went to the fun and games table. It was an all-around great night once things lightened up.
Start of Saturday.
I woke up super hungry. River woke up drunk, and Sugar would barely wake up, and Fur was nowhere to be found. We decided coffee and donuts was the best course of action in preparation of River's Marvel tournament and Sugar and I's Skullgirls tournament. We talked about our nights, the games to come, how much Sugar Rot was putting in us coffee, and everything except Fur. We didn't want to think about that. It was the only subject that prevented fun.
Skullgirls, one more once.
Holy hell, I did terribly at this game. I mean, I had an idea of how bad I was because I lose every online match I play, but it was even harder to deal with in person. I played 3 matches and didn't take a single round from anyone I played. I didn't even get close. I did play a couple of casual matches afterwards, but I didn't do any better there, and I didn't learn from it either. Then again, I don't know where to start, as how do I not get my ass kicked doesn't really lead anywhere. Oh well. Sugar was getting perfects in pools, but it got wiped right out of them.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Ultimate Edition or something.
I watched a ton of streams, but I had never actually seen this game played in real life or played it myself. Holy crap, it's fast and flashy. The streams really don't do it justice. After watching some matches, I see why people get so into this game. It's like it was created specifically to draw attention and excitement. People got really serious about this game too, and this tournament in particular was rocked by controversy. A major player expected to play in the finals was a no-show. What's worse was Fur finally showed up again. And he was in a match against River. Sugar and I watched as Fur refused to shake River's hand, which even the most serious players almost always do. Right out of the gate, Fur was complaining about cheap character usage on River's part. The whole tournament, everyone called me by my online handle. But River won round 1, and Sugar handed me his monster can. Travis, hold this. Sugar was rushing over to deal with the situation. But before the game was even over, Fur had picked up his fighting game stick and threw it at River's head.
Oh!
A crowd tackled Fur to the ground, and he was taken to jail less than 30 minutes later. Upon returning to the room, we gained access to the bathroom. It was now unlocked. Our resident Marvel expert was in the shower, stabbed to death. The greasy smell was too much to take. We had to call 911 from outside the room. The comedic drama that was Fur's arrest hushed up quick once word spread of his actions. And that said, Sunday was pretty cool.